Hey everybody, what's going on? Guko here. We are live with patch 2.4, which means that all of the class changes have been applied to live servers now. That means skills are buffed, items are buffed. We've got a ton of exciting stuff to talk about over the next couple of weeks, including the launch of Season 5. And as I talked about in my last video, everyone's getting hyped up for that and trying to figure out how they're going to gear their character out as fast as possible because, hey, that's what's important, is getting everything fast so that you can get experience faster, so that you can push up the Greater Rift leaderboards faster, and hopefully be able to make that impact as early as possible. In the last video I talked about how to get to level 70 as fast as possible, but one thing that I find gets overlooked is talking about that awkward period between Paragon 0 and about Paragon 80 to 100 where you don't have a full set of gear to really start blasting out the Torment levels. So what I've actually done here is come up with a little bit of a guide for what you can do with your Demon Hunter when you're in that awkward period where you don't have a ton of gear, you don't have really any synergy between your legendaries, and you're just trying to clear the highest difficulty that you can while still being efficient. So what I've done here is I've crafted up some gear for my Demon Hunter that is all just level 70 yellows. They're all pretty generic. They just have dexterity, some crit chance, some attack speed, the rings. They don't have sockets because we're assuming we don't have any legendary gems. I've gone over here to Canized Cube to really minimize the fact you can't have nothing in your Canized Cube once you've had it. So unfortunately for me to show you a blank Canized Cube, I would have to make a new account, which just isn't going to happen. But I've tried to minimize the effect of Canized Cube so that you get a real natural feel to what would be going on. I've even taken my Paragon points here and done it so that they're only equivalent to about Paragon level 10, which you will achieve very, very quickly, and everything else is unspent. So what I use for this build with this standard gear, and you see the gems aren't even maximized, there's a couple rerolls to just get dexterity, because you want to have the most dexterity, vitality, crit chance that you can, but there's nothing really super special about any of this gear. It's just standard crafted gear. What I've done is I've made a build that is going to let you deal damage as fast as possible while also keeping your hatred regen up and keeping your movement up, because efficiency is key, and if everything goes well for you and your character, your luck is just through the roof. Mine never works out that way for seasons. It tends to take me until Paragon 120, it seems, to get actually a full set of efficiency gear. But if you get lucky, you don't want to be using this for very, very long. You want to be able to adjust on the fly as you get gear. So primary skills have been buffed to generate more hatred for you. So what I find works the best for this is using bolas, because you really get more mileage for your shot. And what I mean by that is that if you're using evasive fire, it's good. It's just, it doesn't deal as much AoE damage. Grenades, you tend to have to get close to use really efficiently, and you want to stay as far away from monsters as you try and push up difficulty, so I don't really like to use that. Entangling Shot and Hungry Arrow are both good, but I find they don't match up to bolas and the AoE damage they're able to do, and I use the rune to increase the explosion radius, so you're able to deal more damage from farther away. What I do after that is that I make sure that I have rapid fire, and the reason why I use rapid fire is just because it is the easiest hatred spender to spam, because the channeling cost is going to be lower than if you were, say, spamming out impales, if you're spamming out chakrams, or if you even go over to using cluster arrows or multi-shot. You're not going to be able to get a lot of casts off with that, whereas rapid fire, you're going to be able to consistently stand and deal damage, and if you're killing monsters fast enough, either by yourself or in your group, we're going to have the benefit of Blood Vengeance. Dropping health globes is going to give you a lot of hatred, so you're going to be able to spam that a lot. I use Bat Companion so that you can instantly regen hatred should you run out, but it also keeps a constant hatred stream going for you to be able to spam. Just using Vault and Smokescreen. This is kind of debatable. You can have one or the other. I like having Smokescreen just because I really, really don't like to die, but you could easily switch this up for something else. You could have Caltrops or Shadow Power. You could even have Prep if you find you're vaulting around a lot and you need to get your discipline back up really, really quickly. Mark for Death is good for just in general putting out the AoE, so you could use Valley of Death, or you could even use which one is it here? It is Mortal Enemy, so that you're gaining hatred as you attack. There's a lot of different options to go with. I just put these two skills out just for default, and then I have Vengeance Seed as a cooldown to use when you are maybe in a bind or you've got a lot of monsters on your screen. You should be able to use that in order to just get through that pack or get through those packs and not have the rift come to a screeching halt for you. Attack advantage with your vault makes you move very, very quickly. Ambush is pretty much necessary because you're trying to do as high a difficulty as you can, and you want to be able to deal the most damage as you can right off the get-go. And then I use ballistics in combination with rapid fire just to get more damage out of the rocket. So I have this on Torment 1, which is, I mean, it'd be nice if you could do Torment 1 right off of the get-go. And this is just to give you an example that it does work. It will obviously depend a lot on your mob type, but as we go through and use this, you'll see that not only are the numbers adjusted for 2.4, by the way, but it does a pretty okay job of killing things pretty quickly on Torment 1. And the reason why that's important is that the higher your Torment difficulty is the more likely you're going to get legendary drops in the game. And when you're early on in gearing, you want to continually try and push up Torment difficulties as much as you can without the run just coming to an absolute screeching halt in slowness, because the higher Torment difficulty you do, the better chance you're going to have of getting those legendary items. So as you guys can kind of see through this, it's not the fastest build in the world, at least when you compare it to what you will eventually be running in Torment 10 with a full set of gear, but it does the trick. You're probably going to end up doing about 8 to 10 minute Torment 1 rifts if you're doing this solo, and probably a little bit faster as a group. But again, this isn't by any means a cookie cutter build. This is just something that I came up with that I thought you guys would really use and just have as a reference for when you get to that point where, hey, I don't have any gear, what's something that I can use to be able to kill monsters faster. So the last little tidbit I'm going to talk about here is what you should be going for as you're gearing up. And you want to customize your gear set based on the gear that you're getting. So yes, everybody is going to be rushing to get their Unhallowed Essence set as Demon Hunter because that's going to be by far and away the fastest clearing build. But sometimes luck isn't going to go your way. You're going to wind up getting Natalia's, you're going to wind up getting Shadow, you might just get a whole mishmash of sets. There's a lot of different good sets to use for Demon Hunter, but primarily the things that anchor your sets are your quivers or your weapons. So if you have the ability to gamble, I would recommend gambling for quivers because you have the chance of coming away with either a Dead Man's Legacy, which when it is reworked, I haven't gotten one yet, the patch just went live, but when it's reworked, it'll have huge multi-shot damage as well as the benefit of multi-shot hitting enemies below X% twice. There's the new Bombardier's Rucksack, and that will kind of get you started. Weapons make a big difference too. If you wind up getting a really awesome weapon early on, like a Yang's Recurve or a Manticore or even a Calamity, that will really benefit your leveling experience and benefit your gearing up experience. And just keep on the look for things like Crider Shots. Hey, I got a Crider Shot. That's awesome. Now I can have my Elemental Arrow become a Hatred Spender. You just kind of continually work your way through that and work your way through that. A really good way to work on getting pieces that you're looking for is, as long as you're getting a steady stream of mats, you can always use the upgrade rare item. This is a pretty good trick in order to be able to fill out that maybe last set piece that you're looking for. Oh, I'm just missing shoulders and gloves, so I'm going to start putting rare shoulders and gloves in here and doing my best to upgrade it. But at 25 Death's Breath, it can be pretty steep, so it's just something to keep an eye out for. Convert set item is also something that you can do if you find yourself really just wanting to get that last 6 set piece in order to finally complete a build. But hopefully you guys enjoyed just some perspective on what to do between the levels of Paragon 0 and Paragon 100. It's pretty much the toughest part of the game to push your way through, just because you can end up getting really lucky. And trust me, every season I get really unlucky, and I watch all my friends clearing away Torment 6 to 10 depending on the gear that they've gotten, and I'm still stuck in Torment 2 and 3 trying to complete off my set because I just can't get that piece to drop. And the last little bit of information I can give, try to group up with people of the same class so that if they get an item that they don't need but you need, you can trade it between you. That's all I got. That's my last little bit of season gearing up and leveling advice to give you. If you guys like, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button for more information. Coming out tomorrow will be the Turbo Torment 10 Demon Hunter farm build, and then after that we will just take season 5 as it goes. Who knows what builds are going to pop up? Who knows what builds are going to wind up being the best, but we'll find that out together, and I'll make sure to get the information out to you guys as fast as possible. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.